Yeah, your mom did. Ooh.
Nope. Sorry, I was deafened. Hello.
Hi, what's up?
Hello?
Okay, question 1. How do you how do you feel about this softball Hasan coverage of the Platner stuff? What's verified? Because I've heard like war crimes, I've heard SA, and I've heard like
Oh, he probably.
The craziest part about it is Casey
Whoops.
Tron.
Hold on. He definitely. Platner definitely checked 5 years ago. I think 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
oh
What are you gonna do, man? He has PTSD. He has PTSD.
Can we stop trying to elect the rapers, please?
Oh,
my
so
God, bruh.
now people.
Hot take.
Now people with
Big
PTSD
brain.
can't run for office. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, all people with PTSD just also do sexual crimes. Good job.
Well,
Well,
That's the lefties guy.
yeah, it was also.
That's their man.
It was also an
like, if
really
he
hit job.
drops, do we have time?
He's gone. He's
We don't have
absolutely dropping. He's gone.
Wait, who's replacing him though? Are we just giving it to the who's even? Is it Collins?
Good
Is that
question. Who knows? I don't think anybody knows right now.
Stepped down, I thought, didn't she? Susan Collins stepped down.
Yeah,
Did she step
I
down?
mean, yeah, she was
Wait,
polling
what do you
horribly.
mean?
So
You mean Mills?
you mean Mills,
down?
right? Yeah.
You mean Mills?
Wait, I thought Collins was in it. Oh, Collins was supporting Mills. Is that how? it
Collins
went?
is the Republican.
Is the Republican in
can't
office?
keep
Yeah.
track. Ah, fuck. So she has not stepped down. Damn.
No, she's still running. But Mills, she fucked off.
Okay, so Mills stopped.
The
She
other
came out-
Democrat is gone because they've been gone for a long time.
Yeah.
And then everything is weird. No one knows what's gonna happen now. Yeah. They're probably
Oh.
looking for somebody else now to replace him, but
Are we cooked in the Senate? Do we need Maine? Are we like cooked? Do we get?
well, we
a
need
majority?
every fucking seat possible because we barely have
I
anything
know.
else
I
anyway.
know.
So yeah.
I know. And then
Are we cooked yet?
McMorrow- Are we cooked, chat?
McMorrow's-
oh, one in
yeah.
chat. Yeah, she stepped down yesterday.
Syed could win. Stevens could win. I think Michigan's still in the play.
Yeah, I think so. Do you guys care about McMorrow stepping down though, over like Stevens and El Saib?
I mean, I liked McMorrow
I
more,
like that
but-
she stepped down
but, I
because
mean,
she was not going to win.
Yeah, she was too far behind. So
Yeah, like splitting the vote basically. Do you like Stevens though, or are you more?
I don't know anything about him.
No, fair enough.
Her.
Fair enough.
Them. That's what I said. I don't know anything about him.
Them.
Is what I said. You
Them,
fucking.
Abdul and Stevens.
Yeah,
Okay,
from
what do you,
Bill's positions, I don't see anything that's like super bad. So I'm not like
Yeah, I
super
haven't either.
opposed to
I haven't either.
Syed. Yeah.
I just know like he's DSA, and I think if people think somebody's DSA, they just like hate. What do you guys? I'm actually curious, Stephen. What do you think about DSA candidates in general? Like, are you just ontologically going to be opposed to them? Probably not. Obviously, that's stupid. But how do you go about deciding like DSA candidates and stuff? Do you care?
I mean, I would look at their positions. I'm opposed to the DSA trying to rot my party from the inside out. But I mean, if they win the primaries, then I guess they have to win their generals. I mean, I generally prefer a DSA thing. I think over like a Republican. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, for your debate coming up with George,
yep,
do
Georgie
you have
boy.
any topics that you're interested in debating? It seems like he's willing. I'd like to keep it on like Trump because I got 3 conservatives that are all defending Trump. Okay, a rare thing to happen these days.
Nice.
What do you want to debate him about? Any ideas? Any things you wish you could debate people about and talk about with a Republican?
I mean, almost anything, I would say. Trying to think of anything in particular. What do you think? What's like the most important triggering issue right now?
Iran. Fuck them on Iran.
Easy one.
Ask them how many of his objectives did he actually accomplish. They won't be able to tell you.
Sure.
They maybe did 2. What else?
I'm trying to think if he would have much on Iran, if he would have any arguments about Iran. Because there's so many conservatives coming out against it now. Let's see.
Sorry, I'm mid-league game, so you got half my
Ask him
attention.
ask him about pardons. I'm kidding. That's
Well,
something-
no, I mean it's like valid, but obviously he's got a personal thing. The
Yeah,
problem is
yeah,
that like
that's
there's
me.
like some topics
Yeah.
where it's like it's just impossible to defend on these. But so I know that the conversation is going to be fucking obnoxious.
Well, that's
as
how
fuck.
Iran
Iran
would be boring.
Iran feels. Like it's just like it just feels like what, an hour and a half of you just beating him over the head about how
Literally
bad the war
everything,
is?
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if we do something broader, then you can kind of go anywhere, right? Like we could talk about like
You could. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you could ask him like how Trump has meaningfully impacted prices this year, and then you can bring up tariffs and how he's absolutely caused the average American family more money than the big beautiful bill actually saved them. I think there was like some thing that said the big beautiful bill saved on average the average family like $365, but because of Trump's tariff shit, I think it was costing the average American family $1,750 in just cost of living plus tariffs. That was on a CNN meme this morning.
Damn.
The issue is the guy right before the headlining debate, Micah Irfan, is already debating on all Trump's economic stuff with David Pollock from OAN. So that one's a little bit cooked. Also, oh, Moody, you're leaguing right now, right?
Yeah.
Steven, can you post this in your chat, or should I send this to somebody else just so people can come to the debate?
Yeah. Or hold on.
Yeah, I can't post it because I have no power. And I still don't have my 100K badge, which is extra upsetting. Okay, we've got Trump on economics done already. You could talk about corruption. Corruption stuff is like a little bit less talked about. It's not as directly connected to the economics.
Sure.
Something like how is
hit him on
Trump
ICE.
conservative? Like there's ICE is a good one, or like what is Trump conserving? Like what's even conservative about Trump?
True. Trying to think. I just hate everything about like what could a serious long form. How long is a debate for?
Guys, I've been an hour and a half, but if it's like drying, I don't think it'll dry up because George Santos is a very big personality. But an hour and a half, then 30 minutes for questions. But we'll play by ear a little bit. 2 hours total content time. And it'll be live streamed.
Oh my god.
And we finally
stream where?
decided. Wow.
It'll be what?
Great question, Moody. Great question, Moody. Yeah, this is why Moody is the VIP of the Destiny stream. We're going to stream it on Destiny's channel for the opening, and then we're actually going to convert the Bridges podcast channel to the TBA channel.
Woo! Woo!
Okay, no ideas? I should just come up with something?
No, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Like if I could debate anything right now.
Yeah.
What are the
What do you
things?
want to talk about the most? What do you feel like has not been talked about but will be interesting? You know, I know that you like.
I think it would be. I think it would be in general like some kind of the emperor has no clothes thing, like how we live in a world right now where the amount of lies that the Republicans can tell are just completely and totally unrestricted, and it is it would probably be something related to that. So like the reflection pool recently, how they're trying to claim that there is some guy that fucking snuck in a fucking cloaking outfit and managed to cut everything up like that. It's just, so something related to like the amount of like just open sycophancy and lies that are being told in this administration. I think it's like uniquely bad.
Yeah.
And then if not that, then something that's pretty related to that would be something to do with a lawfare related topic, I think.
You could do this meme of like where you start out by asking him just like basic questions like who won the 2020 election, you know, how long.
Oh, voting, that would come
has
up
the
as like a
planet
result
been
of it.
existing?
But that would come up as part of
Yeah.
the how long has the planet been existing? That would come up as part of the voter fraud thing, I think, yeah. Or no, I'm sorry, not the voter fraud thing, the misinformation thing.
The misinformation stuff. Yeah, Emperor's no clothes. I'm trying to think about like a good prompt for what we could take with that.
This administration just lies more than anything in all of fucking my lifetime of U.S. politics, maybe all of.
It's like something about like this the Trump administration is the most historical something, like something punchy and spicy about how he's like something about like the standards. Like there's no comparable political standard to like we're all numb. We're literally numb to how fucking horrible it is, and we're not even halfway in.
Yeah, I would say something related to that. The lawfare stuff is something I'm pretty interested in. Is he a lawyer? I feel like a lot of Congress people are lawyers or were lawyers.
I don't know. Former rep. Let me look him up. Former politician, convicted felon. I don't think so. I don't see anything about him. Education. Blah, blah, blah. He was born in Brazil. Just learning a lot about his nanny. I have no idea what his education is.
Okay. I mean, if it doesn't say lawyer in his Wikipedia, then he's probably not a lawyer, I guess.
don't think so. Primary school. He might just have a high school degree. I'm not gonna.
There's no way. It's
GED.
just high school, right? Because the
don't
only
see
one that
any-
was that Mullen guy, I think, was the only high school person that was in. That they tried to replace Christy Nome with.
In Brazil.
Oh, I hate that motherfucker.
Yeah, you hate everybody, Moot. You're just a fucking hater.
It's true.
Hater, hater. Why does what is her name? Yuffie? Why does she have like a weird thing on her arm? What's that weird thing? It looks like just like a flesh sack.
It's
Looks like a little flesh sack on
It's
her
a
arm.
design.
Oh, like you picked that?
No, it's just how she wants to present herself. Okay.
Yeah, he holds a GED certificate.
Is that really it? I thought that one guy was the only. I thought that one
all I
Republican
can
was the
find.
only person in Congress without a college degree. I thought
Somebody could. If I'm looking on his Wikipedia, if I'm.
Well, he's not in Congress anymore, right?
Well, yeah, but I feel like somebody would have said that. Bruh.
Bruh.
He lied about a bunch of his bibliography, so it's possible that he claimed having education, but it was, I don't know, education. Oh, he falsely claimed to hold a bachelor's degree in finance and economics.
But he actually has a degree in.
I actually, Santos admitted to that he never held a graduate degree from any college.
Okay, well, I guess. Base.
Base.
King.
Just lie.
In his interview with Morgan, Santos said he lied about his college experience.
Oh, Mullen's thing was he was the only person in the Senate, not all of Congress. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, he's just got a GED.
Wait, Mullins is the Senate guy.
That's crazy. Well,
Yeah, it'd be something about lying, just like open lies and misinformation. Yeah, and there's a ton of topics that can come in from that. The vaccines, or the autism caused by Tylenol shit. The fact that we have like fucking measles and shit coming back now in the United States.
you feel prepped on all that? Like if we went in those directions, or is there any areas you don't want to go into? I'm obviously asking him the same questions.
I'll be okay on anything.
Okay,
The Trump admin is indefensible right now.
I agree.
There's a billion
Okay.
examples on anything. Yeah.
Okay, I'll
otherwise, yeah.
maybe give him this list. No standards, open lies, misinformation. I'll aim it around something about like the Republicans have zero standards and like no respectability left, something like that. The Trump administration is the most corrupt in American history, and Americans don't seem to care. Maybe something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okie schmokey. Bye, have fun.
Be careful.
Bye bye.
See
Good
you
one.
at LibCon. See you at
Be
LibCon.
careful.
Cringe con.
What do you mean by that?
You heard me.
Okay. Just stagger. He never staggers. Okay, hold on. John Favs. Graham Platner isn't just our best and only chance to beat Susan Collins. Oh, this is old. Don't care. I already did it. Jesus. This is pretty brutal, though. I hope everyone with reservations takes a little time to get to know the real-life version of him, not what the algorithm throws in our faces. The funny thing is that people like me and Hutch and anybody who is like, listen, I'd vote for fucking Epstein. I don't give a fuck. We get actually, our positions haven't changed. We can just, hey, fuck it. I said what I said, bro.
Yeah, I'd vote for the motherfucker.
He raped who? She wasn't even under 18? Bruh. Just kidding.
This is
Stop.
nothing burger.
We don't believe that here. Well, is
Like
this?
all of these Fox News guys are like, I can't believe this is what Graham Platt.
Oh no.
Like all of these Fox News guys are like, I can't believe this is what Graham Plattner was doing. How dare he do such horrible things? It's like, dog, Pete Hegseth, the current Secretary of War, was your co-worker. Okay? Pete Hegseth was literally your co-worker and was a notorious drunk rapist. Like, if you want to talk about Nazi tattoos, Graham Plattner's Totenkopf didn't get dinged by the military, which again is more of a diss on the military.
Wait, is that true? I thought that was why one of the reasons why he couldn't go back was because it did get dinged, and then he had to.
He said it hasn't been dinged, so I'm not sure.
Bruh. I thought it getting hit in the military and he could have gotten it removed, but he chose not to. Was part of the story. But maybe I'm right. I could be wrong. I don't know.
If we're being honest, but you know whose tattoo? You know whose tattoo did get dinged? Pete Hegseth's Nazi tattoo. That's right. Pete Hegseth's Nazi tattoo is the reason why he couldn't serve as a part of the National Guard during the Biden inauguration. So what the fuck are you guys talking about? He wrote a whole book about it. And unlike Pete Hegseth, Graham Plattner covered his Nazi tattoo. What the fuck are these people saying?
Well,
I feel like I'm losing my mind. The standards are so out of whack, dude. We just never look at Republicans. We never look at Republicans. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They can literally murder, cheat, steal, rape, do whatever the fuck they want. And everyone's like, well, just because they're doing it doesn't mean, you know, our guys should do it. It's like, well, our guys are not doing that, okay? If our guys were doing that, then yeah, that would be a problem. But they're not even doing that, and you're making that equivalence as though they are by guys who are literally either A, doing the things that they're claiming Graham Plattner is doing, or defending the things that they claim Graham Plattner is doing, and then some.
this is just the best thing to do. It's just the jump, 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 jump. And then he's gonna do a thing. And we're gonna do a thing. Oh, okay. Oh my god, I just pushed the wrong button. Fuck, dude. Gonna react to live and learn? When is it on?
You would challenge existing law. There's not enough time.
Uh-oh.
Oh, whatever. I gotta start. Some states require a special election to fill a vacancy. A few states. Okay, so they're just going to do an appointment. Special Senate elections in Kentucky. Mitch McConnell health questions raise Kentucky Senate succession issues. The episode has drawn attention to a major change Kentucky lawmakers made in 2024 to the state Senate vacancy laws. The legislation eliminated the governor's ability to appoint a replacement senator and instead directed vacancies be filled. Oh, there's a new special election. Okay. It went the opposite direction. I figured given how undemocratic Republicans are, they would have flipped it, and it would be an appointment rather than a special election. But there is a special election process, which is why they're hiding his death, because they don't want Massey to run. Gotcha. It's because the governor is a Democrat? Yeah, they probably changed it because they were worried about Bashir putting a Democratic senator in if McConnell died. They probably changed the law specifically so that he couldn't do that.
How's Vosh taking it?
Wouldn't it be like illegal to
know.
cover up the death? I don't really know what the laws are about the legality of covering up a person's death in the hospital.
I'm just fucking retarded, bro.
It's not really relevant. It's not like the law exists anymore. How long do they have to cover it up until Massey can't run? That is a good question. Kentucky filing deadline. Senate midterms. August 3rd? August 6th? I'm hearing a widespread of early Augusts from chat. Let's take a look specifically. Candidate filing deadlines opens November 5th. Wait, closes January 9th, 2026? Do they not have a closing deadline? Or is it for the primary? Would he be running as a Republican? Wait, hold on. Kentucky Republican Senate primary filing deadline. The primary election took place on May 19th. Well, wait, that's the federal. Hold on. Where are you guys getting August 3rd from? Where are you getting that information from? Here? There's a lot of confusion around the August 3rd Kentucky date, so let's clear it up. Amend the state's constitution. Two arguments arguing for the third with one. Oh my, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Is it ambiguous? You'd have two sides arguing for the third with one saying Section 152 still constitutional requires gubernatorial appointment for statewide vacancies. HB 622 failed because trying to remove that. So Bashir would get an appointment amending Section 152 of the Constitution because law won't overdo it. They're arguing Section 152 is not reach federal U.S. Senate seats. Oh my god, it's fucking legally ambiguous. Holy shit. Oh my god, the law doesn't...
Okay, I don't care about this. Okay,
to put.
back to our hopium.
Is erase that agency. So instead of saying, "Hey, we're Americans, we have a can-do spirit, we innovate, we take care of our people," all those things. Instead, when people look at the United States from within, they see our government and they don't like the things the government is doing. And by the way, I think that goes all the way back to the Vietnam War. But one of the things that I think is so exciting about this moment is ordinary people saying, I'm proud of the fact my people came from wherever and built lives, or that my people fought so that I would have the right to vote, or that I could get a credit card. And that, to me, is what America really is the ability of people to fight to expand the principles that were articulated in the Declaration of Independence to include more and more people. And if you use that lens on American history, which, by the way, is very much the lens that we would have used until really recently, probably the 1990s, all of a sudden you can be embarrassed about the fact that that ability to get out there and change the world also meant the rise of the KKK, the rise of neo-Nazis, the extraordinary destruction of environmental resources and the countryside and so on. You can look at that.
It has to do with, do you have a qualified, competent candidate who can beat the...
In Maine. The relationship was more than 2 years long before he entered her rural Maine home uninvited one night in late 2021, so under 5 years ago. He was deeply intoxicated and forced himself on her while she repeatedly told him to stop. She said she cut off contact with him after telling him the encounter was not consensual. I remember him grabbing my pelvis and being really forceful of me, she said. I remember the specific moment where I thought to myself, this is no longer my choice. Ray Sakat was one of the women that the New York Times had talked to, we should say, but at that time, she gave kind of a more generic assessment. This is separate from the woman who had made the more notable allegations in the New York Times story, who's a Republican political operative. That's not the case for Ray Sakat. She said this: one of the reasons I didn't come forward sooner was the huge moral conflict that I had between supporting his politics but not supporting him as a person. I just want the truth out there. I just want people to have a whole scope of who he is as a person. She provides some corroborating evidence, including this Facebook message exchange. A friend, I guess, is asking her for advice about whether to fix up Platner with a third person. Ray Sakat says to them he can be charming and funny. He's a decently intelligent person. He's not all bad, but I ended up in a bad situation with him. I will just very politely call him consensually careless at times. She goes on when drunk and says he lies also. There are some of the more explicit details of the story here, including Ray Sakat saying that, I don't know how to say this in front of Sarah, he finished inside of her and that she was worried about that. And then after she realized she was not pregnant, she messaged him on Instagram, saying that, reading him the riot act and saying that she was ending contact with him. She since deleted those Instagram messages because she was trying to block it all out. So that is the allegation. Very serious, of course. Platner put out a kind of strange 2-minute long video where he talked about, all his campaign. And I guess we'll talk about all that. But I just kind of want to play the key part of that video.
Regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, when mindful of political reality won't inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward.
So anyway, a lot there. I just thought that was a pretty noteworthy thing to say. We're taking time to reflect on the best path forward. We don't have a lot of time. July 13th is the last day for him to drop out of the race. But he maintains denial of the reporting, but not really a very forceful pushback. Type of thing if you were planning on staying in the race, I would think that your response might be different. But Sarah was wondering what your kind of initial reactions to it are.
All right. So first of all, the reporting here is quite excellent because they have a lot of details. And I think for some people right now who are saying, whose instinct is to defend Platner, they're going to say, "Why? I need to see more evidence." And actually, if you read the reporting carefully, the evidence is pretty strong, right? Like they have her, she's one of the women who's in the New York Times story, but she's very clear in the piece. They're very good at sort of laying out why. In the piece, she was somewhat more circumspect. And it also, having looked at the New York Times piece when it came out, Lindsay Fifield got in a big fight with the New York Times. She is the Republican operative who says she was coaxed into telling the story in the New York Times and ultimately was angry because she felt like her story became central. And I think it became central because ultimately she had the most, the biggest accusation in there, which was some sort of, forcing her into a room and holding her arm behind her back. And so that was as close to sort of that was an assault allegation that sort of got framed as him trying to restrain her in some way, whatever. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't a knockout blow. This woman was also in that piece, but didn't come forward with a rape accusation. And let's be clear, Tim saying he's uncomfortable saying it in front of me. I'll just be really clear. Like, this is a rape accusation. What is in this piece?
Yeah, no, the word rape wasn't my problem. It was just talking about ejaculating.
Okay.
It made me uncomfortable in a moment there.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to do about that. It's okay.
I wasn't blaming you. I'm just saying that, saying ejaculation. I'm building up to it. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's a serious matter.
It's okay. And so, and one of the things that I had a couple of the nuance of the reporting was strong, and I had a couple initial reactions. One is the text message that you showed, though, is frustrating to me because right at the bottom of it, the friend asks,
"Oh my god!"
So she says, "Forces himself on people?" ? There's a response there, and I want to know what that response says. I'm just not in there. But the other thing to me that was notable was this idea that they had been sort of seeing each other casually. He shows up hammered, walks into her house, and like the idea that he's denying it. This is what happens when one person's sober and the other person's hammered, right? Like if she is sober and he is sort of overwhelming her or doesn't remember it the same way, but he was really drunk and she was at home sober, like we take her word for it. This isn't two people who are hammered. And so I feel like at some point, and it was always like this, I was willing to be open to the idea that an apology for the past Reddit behavior, for the past
Not the Reddit
terrible
behavior.
things that he said, an apology and saying he was wrong and he had changed was okay. I could accept that. That was always the problem.
Also, unfortunately, we got breaking big news.
Waiting.
Fuck, I closed the tweet. Oops. Apparently, his Discord has called for him to step down.
Oh, no.
Rip.
With the new allegations when they started to come, the ones that were more recent, because it started to lay the predicate that he hadn't changed. And this coming out, this isn't from 20, even if it was, rape is rape. There's no like, hey, we get to, later it's okay, right?
Statute of limitations, yeah.
Yeah. But this was not that long ago. And it was recent enough that this woman has the receipts and people that she talked to. And so I just think there's no reason not to believe this account. And what we know of his character does not exonerate him from behavior like this. And he's right, though. It is a distraction. And I think that video, when you say it's a weird video, to me, it's like, okay, that's a trial balloon. And he's waiting to see if people pop it, right? He's waiting to see if the reaction is, no, you've got to stick this out.
I don't know, man. I don't. I mean, these guys have watched elections longer than me, but you never, ever show hesitancy until you're gone. That's why, like, people always get really mad and they pretend to not understand. But when people asked, they were asking, I think, McMorrow this, like, are you going to drop out? And she's like, no, I'm not going to drop out. And then obviously she drops out. It's the same thing when people are running against each other in primaries. It's the same thing when you're in the general. It really doesn't matter. You never, ever, ever show hesitancy. Like, people ask these questions in interviews. Oh, like, if you dropped out, would you consider a cabinet position with this person? It's like, I'm not even thinking about that. Why would you start talking about it? So I feel like the microsecond that guy is like, we're considering all options, oh, he's gone. That means they're looking for a replacement or some semi-graceful way out, but that has to be the case, right? There's no possible way that it's anything beyond him stepping down. That's just, yeah.
Or you've got to get out. And I think, and I'm just going to, this is the last thing I'll say, but we did a focus group of Maine women right before the New York Times story came out. And we asked them, okay, and they were all sticking with Platner. They were all like, we're with him, but we were like, okay, what would be, if there was something that made you walk away, what would it be? They all said a sexual assault allegation. And, I just said, so they said, there's no way I would be able to vote for him if something came out that it was substantiated that he had sexually assaulted somebody. Because then in my mind, he should be in jail. He shouldn't be in Congress or in the Senate earning a paycheck off of taxpayers. Then Sharon says, I agree with Jen. She just said exactly how I feel. I'm looking at the long game. I want Collins out. It'd have to be pretty bad. It'd have to be pretty bad. And then the moderator said, do you have any idea what that would be? And Sharon said, maybe sexual assault. And Danielle said, probably sexual assault, or going back to what someone else said, that if it was the case, like, this is people talking. So we would hope that our justice system was taking care of that. Then we wouldn't be in the situation where they'd be able to run. But, look at the rest of our government. Like, who knows? So there's that. And then Kim said, I would think, like, if he was really, accused of sexual assault, and that was a true thing, like, that would take him off the option to vote.
Yeah, well, that's good to know, I guess, that Maine Democratic voters aren't going to approve of somebody that commits sexual assault or rape. Look, my view on this is, and this is why I think that the video is weird, and I think it goes back to like a fundamental first principle on all this stuff, which is like, why does the Maine Senate race matter? Like, why does anybody care about this? Why do we care about this? Why do voters care about this? Like, everybody comes to these things for their own motivations. And like, I've been very upfront. I think most of us in the bulwark have. Like, I think it's critical that the Democrats take control of the Senate next year. And I would be willing to swallow people that have very different ideologies from me on a wide variety of issues.
Same.
Because if they're willing to, if they are going to take the Senate race is different than the governor's race or mayor's race or presidential race. That you're one vote out of 100, and it's like extremely important that who knows what's happening with 82-year-old Trump in 2028. like the top priority needs to be making sure that if the Democrats control both houses of Congress, they can check him, they can prevent him from putting, who the hell knows? He floated Ted Cruz today on the Supreme Court, or Eileen Cannon. They can stop Eileen Cannon from getting on the Supreme Court. They can investigate his corruption. We could go down the whole list, right? Like the Senate has huge oversight and advise and consent powers, and like Susan Collins has not been a moderate disruptor. We've talked about this a lot, and so for that reason, it's critical that the Democrats are smart about who they nominate, and Democratic voters are smart about who they nominate, that they're responsible. And my view on Platner from the start was always like, it would be interesting to try kind of a DSA, lefty, populist, working class guy. I wish it was in a state that was less important to the Democrat Senate majority, because it was a risk. Like every time this has come up, that's what I said. It was a risk, and like this is why it's a risk. Like if he then stays in this race past July 13th, and even more stuff comes out, and you hand the Democrats the Senate seat in the race that should be the easiest to take this year. I think this is like the most important thing, and why I'm frustrated with his like quote where he's like, "I'm going to take a few days to decide." It's like, no, if you didn't rape this woman, then you should be fully, all in on campaigning for yourself and defending your honor and doing so respectfully, obviously, to the accuser. But like, you should be fully in on making sure that you're pulling out all the stops to demonstrate to people that you are trustworthy and they can rely on you and they should be behind you and you should win the Senate race. To do the whole like, oh well, I don't know, we'll see how things go over the next couple days. Like that is somebody to me that like either thinks that there's more stuff coming out or doesn't have faith in himself that he can finish this race. And to me, that is the top sign that you have to move on. Obviously, if the facts of this are true, that's the number one reason they have to move on. But I just mean from a political standpoint, it's like the Democrats cannot have a nominee in the state that they most need to win, number one, the state that Kamala won, that should be the easiest to win, and put it behind somebody who seems unwilling to even fully defend himself, like in the face of these accusations, and who seems to make me think that more stuff is coming out. I don't know, so to me, like that just says, okay, it's time to move on.
Yeah, and I think that there's two parts of this to talk about. There's the moral part of it, and there's the political part of it. Now, I think a credible accusation of rape,
it's not good.
I think that's the ballgame, personally. But the political side of it is, like, it is now, because like you said, there's no statute of limitation on rape. Like, there's going to be questions of whether she's going to bring charges. Like, think about this for a second. For people who are sitting there right now thinking, you should stay in and brazen through this. Republicans have so many, credibly accused rapists, not the least of which is the sitting president of the United States, who has 28 sexual assault allegations against him and has been adjudicated of rape. Like,
yeah.
But
I love the people in the comments or whatever on Twitter. People are talking about, like, talk about Trump. What about Trump's rapes? I'm like, I have. We talk about Trump shit all the time. Trump, I oppose Trump 3 times. Like, it's crazy that he's in there. Yeah, it's worse. It's worse. The accusations against him are worse. Okay, so.
And the scale of them are worse. And he shouldn't have been elected president. And basically, that's the whole reason the Bulwark exists, is to oppose Donald Trump, because we think he is morally and ethically unfit in every way to be a part of this country, or to be running this country. And we've been doing that for 8 years. And so nobody can hold a candle to us in terms of saying that Donald Trump should be gone, and that a big part of the reasons were allegations, like sexual assault allegations. He should have been gone from the moment that the Inside Edition, whatever, tape came out on the bus.
Where he admitted to sexually assaulting women. He
bragged. He admitted
it.
Okay, so he's gone. He should be gone. And I also want to say this, that I'm with Tim. Like,
that was not good damage.
I was really trying to get there on Platner because it was important, and also because for me, it was not a question of ideology. Like, sometimes people in the chat or wherever are like, well, Sarah's a Republican. Guys, all of us were Republicans at the Bulwark. Every single one of us, except for the new people, right? But everybody who founded it, right? Bill, Tim, JVL, Mona, that's what we were all doing, okay? And we all walked out on Trump because he was of bad character. He was a horrible person. And we want to do everything we can to stop him. The main Senate seat is deeply critical. So do you know why it's important right now? Is that there is still time. There's still time. Let's see. Platner would have to formally withdraw by 5 p.m. on July 13th. Then a vacancy in the nomination is created that has to be filled by July 27th. Now, look, it's bad. It's bad that we are in this situation, just like it was bad when we were in this situation with Biden. But that is the problem with the people who don't make good decisions about who the candidate should be. It has nothing to do with progressives versus centrists. It has to do with, do you have a qualified, competent candidate who can beat the other person effectively? And right now, the answer on Grant Platner is no on the political question.
I agree with that. And this is one thing, again, just to talk about the progressive factionalist fight about this for a second, because that does drive a lot of all this. I mean, we can just be honest. Like, a lot of people's takes about Platner are downstream from their takes on ideology, right? And it's like a lot of the people who are very big Platner supporters have been defending him. If these same accusations had been out against Josh Shapiro, they would be the first ones to say that he should be thrown overboard, and vice versa. For the most, obviously, there are people of goodwill out there, but like a lot of this is downstream of that. I think that the progressive side has like some decent arguments and critiques of the Democratic establishment and how they ran campaigns from 2016 to 2024. And like nominating candidates who put working class interests first and who are more clearly anti.
Yeah, where were their candidates then? Anybody can have good critiques. Hold on, you don't have to give it to them. You really don't. You really don't. Anybody can have good critiques, but like do nothing, right? Where if they had such great fucking critiques, if these guys knew so much about winning elections, where the fuck are all their candidates? Why didn't they fucking go out and win any elections then? They didn't. They didn't win anywhere. They didn't do anything. Oh my god, I just
Me to Steve in D&D.
What? We won all the time. We were true winners. Yeah.
We were.
We were.
from my plans.
This guy heals fucking no. Oh, there we go. Okay.
A nothing burger?
No. Oh god, it's storming.
Ah!
It's the end times.
Alarma!
Please just fucking die. Thank you. Done! I am done with this fuck game.
Oh, you're done?
Are the rest of the battles easier? That has to be the hardest one. Oh
You know
my
there's 2 more,
god.
right?
Wait, really? Don't look now, but Matt Iglesias deleted all of his tweets defending Platner's Nazi tattoo. Wait, really? Really?
We need to A-log these motherfuckers.
Whoa!
What I mean by that is just keep all their tweets or whatever, because if they're just gonna go and delete it and then act like they never supported these people, that's retarded. I'm right.
Smart and swing states. So like you can sell me on that. And so to me, like this is not wrapped up in that for me. And that's, depending on the details, I might not agree with every position that is underneath those two kind of tent poles, but like I'm open to that. The problem with Platner always to start was again just the risk. Like look, when I pulled this up. I wrote a triad about the reason for Democrats needed outside candidates about a month or two ago at thebork.com. And I talked about Platner as an example, and also Seth Moulton in Massachusetts and some others. I wrote in the thing, like, to be frank, I'm still a little concerned about what might come out about his past before November. Like, even in the case for him, that there are some political upsides to being more of an anti-establishment, to being more of an outsider, to caring about the working class. Like, I saw all those upsides and simultaneously recognize these risks. And, like, now they've come home to roost. And if they're not true, if it's BS, then, like, he's got to be, like, this has to be all hands on deck. Like, you got to be out there. You have to have your other ex-girlfriends out there on TV today. You've got to have people advocating for you. You've got to be releasing these texts you have with this woman. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be doing crisis communications. Like, if someone was to falsely accuse me of rape and try to kill my podcast, like, let me tell you, I would not be out there being like, I'm going to take a couple days to think about this. Like that's crazy. Like, that's not how you respond to this thing. And so, the stakes are too high to like say, hey, let's kick the can until after July 13th when the time is up, and like see if anything else comes out. Literally, the fate of the Senate rests in the balance here. And so, unfortunately, we're kind of relying on Graham Platner and the people around him, the people that pushed him in this campaign, to do the honorable thing here so that we can win. And it's, we can get into who a replacement might be. But to me, I'm like, I don't have strong factional interest in that question.
Yeah, and look, somebody said this in the chat, so I guess it's true that Hasan Piker is also calling him to get out. Look, everybody's going to call for him to get out, I think, because the accusation
it's too much
and the reporting is quite credible.
Yeah, here's Hasan Piker for whatever it's worth. People don't know Hasan Piker, like really DSA left, has been pushing, campaigning for a lot of these candidates. He and I agree on very little. I was not going to go there. Hasan Piker, that is curtains. That is the trifecta, okay? This is the trifecta of a reliable allegation. It's holy shit. I believe this allegation. Instead he goes on to say he should drop out. So.
Look, me and Hasan Piker are on the same side. Who'd have thunk it? Listen, I just, and I think this says something good about the Democratic Party.
Oh
they
my
don't
God!
want
Yeah,
to
we're
endorse
so
somebody
good.
Who's credibly accused of sexual assault.
Because
it says something really, really bad about the Republican Party. It's why we all left. That they don't care about this type of thing. The character doesn't matter at all. And I think that, look, Graham Platner himself could have sold me a redemption story if it was true that he was redeemed. And I don't mean in a religious way. I mean in a way of like, he was he was in a really rough place for a long time, but he changed. He got married. He was trying to live a decent life. And listen, and I don't even care about people's like overall frailties. Or like, like if there was texting and he and his wife worked it out, okay, whatever. Those are not things. I'm not going to clutch my pearls over that. A rape accusation. And I see some people in the chat saying things like innocent until proven guilty. This isn't a legal adjudication. Yeah. This is a question of is this person okay to be in the actual Senate? But also it's a political question of, can a person win with this much baggage? And the answer is no. Susan Collins was going to be hard to beat under the best of circumstances. And the other thing we know as this race has gone on, to Tim's point about learning, right? I think both Tim and I were pretty open to the idea that what is the way that you attract more young men to the Democratic Party? Is sort of a populist? Yeah, is this kind of a rougher populist? Is that going to be attractive? No. Who is Graham Platner's base still? It is college-educated suburbanites. That is who it is. Like, it's not the working class voters. And I do think a lot of those women who were supporting Graham Platner, they're going to have a tough time with this accusation. That's why I read the focus groups. And you guys people can say, oh, who cares about what 4 Maine women said? I think that's relatively representative of Maine women who are like, yeah, if he did sexual assault, that would be it for me.
Yeah. Question is, what are we going to do? I see some of that in the chat. Let's talk about that on the flip side. We have to do one ad, so I'll throw to that, and then we'll talk about what the options are going forward.
Do the jump thing. Go.
Hey, summer's in full swing, and so it's easy to put off your doctor's appointments. It's one of those things that you just avoid doing. And if you're anything like me, it's really easy to keep putting off making that doctor's appointment again and again and again and again. You think I'll get to it next week, and then suddenly you look up and it's
you're dead.
August. That's why today's sponsor is actually one I think people can use. It's ZocDoc. I hate the whole process of finding a new doctor, calling around, waiting for someone to answer, trying to figure out what's actually in network. ZocDoc takes a lot of that hassle away.
No shot. I didn't dodge
local
either of
and in-network
those.
doctors.
Oh my
ZocDoc's
God.
website has tons of reviews from real patients and detailed doctor profiles to help you choose the right one. Plus, ZocDoc is free to use, and God knows I love things that are free to use. Your health matters, and taking care of yourself shouldn't be complicated. Find and book the right doctor with ZocDoc. Head to ZocDoc.com/bulwarktakes to get started, and check that appointment off your to-do list. Don't wait till August. That's ZocDoc.com/bulwarktakes.
All right, we are back. So I want to talk about a couple of subjects. I do want to talk about the path forward. The first thing I want to go through a little bit. So I'm not
she's moderating your panel.
If Platner is to stay in the race again, I just we'll see. I've seen some feedback from people who are like, this is convenient timing. This is actually pretty inconvenient timing for everybody involved. But the Republicans
better
for
timing
sure
than
wanted no more stories after July 13th. So. And because gives Platner a pretty short window to do something. He could drop out, and the rules, as Sarah mentioned beforehand, I just will remind people of that, is that if he dropped out by the 5 p.m. on the 13th, so a week from now, the party would have till 5 p.m. on July 27th to select a replacement and get that person on the ballot. One of the concerns I'd have on that is that, like, here we are again with the pro-democracy movement that we're part of, going around what people think of when they think of democracy, actual voting results, and doing some other process. And in both cases, particularly in the Biden case, I was for it. I was for a quick primary too. I think that anyway, we can redo that another time. I think that it undermines trust to have like party elites doing this. And I think that the one thing I said about Graham at the time that I'll continue to say is that his message was resonating with people in Maine. People of Maine were excited about him. They wanted him. They voted for him. They didn't want Janet Mills, the incumbent governor again. And so now to like say to those people, okay, hey, no, sorry, here you go. Like we're going to give you somebody else. I do think it's problematic and complicated.
Yeah,
and I'm still for it, but I just think it should be grappled with.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, this was look. I understood why people liked Graham Platner. He was never for me. Once he was the nominee, I was sort of I was always interested in the experiment. I'm very interested in experimenting with lots of different kinds of candidates in different kinds of places, because I want to win. I want Democrats to hold the to win the Senate and to win the House. I want Donald Trump's corrupt agenda blocked. Okay, I would do just about anything to see Donald Trump out of political power or in a contested political power situation. That is my ideal scenario. Graham Platner is in an incredibly weak position to do that now. And I think as a moral matter, when somebody's credibly accused of rape, that's game over. That's me. That's violence and rape. Those are my red lines. And I don't care that Donald Trump got away with it. I think that's bad and been bad for the country. So what do we do now? The main thing is you still have a little bit of time.
Get it? The main thing, because it's
Tim,
Maine.
I don't know if you thought this. Maybe you even said this to me offline, that the reason that Graham Platner's not out, it's either like I said, I think it's a bit of a trial balloon, but he could also be trying to negotiate who his successor is.
Yeah,
and say like, you do.
I don't. I mean, I don't know. I have no inside intel, but that seems like the likely element could be happening. So to this point, I mean, not everybody watching this chat on YouTube is going to be familiar with all the characters of Maine politics. I'll just like throw this out there. There's discussion of Platner trying to influence this. We should say the guy that owns the Maine beer company, Dan Cleven, he was going to get in this race originally, got screwed over by Chuck Schumer, who called him and basically said, don't launch this campaign. We'll go after you. Janet Mills is going to be the endorsed candidate. So that would be one option. Nirav Shah was a Maine governor candidate. He's the director of the Maine CDC during COVID. Some discussion of him. Mills herself getting back in. I think that'd be a disaster. We can talk about that. Shelley Pingree, the House rep. She's a ripe young age of 71. That'd be kind of Mills Jr. Troy Jackson is president of the Maine State Senate and a logger. He also was in the governor's race. Actor Patrick Dempsey is getting some buzz. We'll talk about him in a second. Grey's Anatomy. McDreamy. None of those people. Maybe Jackson would be the closest facsimile to Platner, I guess. He's a logger.
That's what it does out
he
here.
identifies as a progressive, president of the state senate. I'm not going to pretend to know everything about his background. But then how do you do it? Do you have a convention? Is it just a party committee? It becomes a little, it's a sticky wicket.
Yeah, this is not an easy thing to solve.
If
even
they
just
could
thinking
have
out
left
loud,
this candidate in,
and
we
I wish
gotta
I'd
cry
secret pod
about.
rules where we could say things and not be committed to them.
Sorry, we're live.
This is what happens when
people
we're
who want to
live.
dunk on you are watching, so we are not a secret pod rules. You just got to
That's
roll.
true. Look, I've got a couple ideas. One is Heather Cox Richardson, who,
All right.
popular
Glad her to list.
Mainer historian, frequent guest on my podcast. I think she would be excellent. I do think probably. Now, look, she is somebody who is known to us and to a national audience. I guess the question is, who is known to Mainers? That's also a bit of maybe a Hail Mary. Also, look, I don't know what it takes to become a Maine resident, but there are a lot of people, other places that I think would make Adam Kinzinger. He's in Texas. He's got a little prop plane. We should just fly him over. have him
Kinsey?
run.
Sarah Bush from Kenny Bunkport. Oh, we're
from
not going
Kenny
to beat the
Bunkport. I was
allegations.
trying to think if there was any good
That's
ones.
our guy.
Allegations on that.
That's our guy.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how that shakes out. It's going to be a tough. There are two kind of simultaneously things happen that are so frustrating about this. Like on the one hand, like yeah, it's going to be a tough race.
Hold on,
Susan
let her
Collins
cook.
has demonstrated herself to be resilient, political creature. True.
Yes.
Also true. Again, I said this before. I want to repeat it because it's very important. Of the states that the Democrats need to win the Senate seat in to take the Senate to pick up a seat, Maine is the only one that Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris won.
All one.
All
It's
one.
a blue state.
So you don't really need creative ideas. That was one of the fundamental issues I had with the Platner premise. And if you just love that that's fine. Like the idea that but if it was a political strategy, it was like, oh, we need to try something different. The establishment's been trying this and it hasn't worked. It's like, well, in Maine, the Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton campaigns worked. They won. So you really just needed vote to like get those voters to vote for you. So like Susan Collins is tough, yes, but also you really just need somebody that can hold the coalition together and get them to turn out in the midterm. Like that's the task.
Yeah, I think people felt burned by Sarah Gideon, who they thought was like kind of generic Dem fodder, and then Susan Collins crushed.
Yeah. There's a lot of difference though. Presidential year, like you're thinking about Biden being in there. Like this is a midterm where Democrats have done better for a lot of reasons. Anyway, you would think one of these people should be able to win. And again, if you look at some of these other states, look at North Carolina. No drama in North Carolina. I forget which pod I said this on the other week ago. It's like I'm Roy Cooper. I believe in the golden rule and that criminals should be in jail. Vote for me. And it's like you're winning by 20% in a state that Trump won. Okay, so this isn't as hard as some people want to make it seem. And getting a replacement could potentially solve that problem. Though I think it will continue to drive a rift within the Dem coalition. That's going to make 2028 kind of unbearable. But that's for another day.
Well, look, this is for the folks who recruited Platner. This is going to be a big L if he drops out, and it's going to really look.
It'd be a bigger L if he stayed in and lost.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And maybe there's people who want to roll the dice on this, but let me hypothetically, who do you think has a better chance of defeating Susan Collins? A beleaguered Graham Platner with a rape accusation. And guys, we are still in the window where he could drop out. Like the Republicans haven't even really started dropping their oppo yet. Like the idea that there's more.
Not only have they not start, like it would make no sense for them to start, and they've acknowledged this. Like I listened to the MAGA podcast. They all say they kind of have been saying gleefully, "We've got stuff on him, but we're not going to put it out until after July 13th." So
that's right. This is not what you are watching right now. Is not Republicans operating against Graham Platner. Maybe it is people who are like, let's try to get him out before this thing goes. But like, this woman's not a Democratic operative. She's somebody who shares his politics. She was just upset after watching everybody dismiss the accusations because Lindsay Fifield was a Republican operative, and she really wrestled with whether or not to say something because she agrees with his politics, but ultimately felt like people should know the truth about him. And also, I think didn't want to say that she was raped, which is a totally normal thing not to want to do.
Yeah. I want to say I want to give the other side of the coin of the little tough medicine that everybody has to take. We all have to take. I take it, but particularly the biggest Platner supporters have to take it. And this one, from the Biden comparison, I talked about one of the negatives about the democracy element of this, which is I think something that we're still gonna have to grapple with. Another just lesson from the Biden situation that we had in this case also is like it's actually good, smart politics to do housekeeping on your own side's weaknesses. And like and what you hear all the time, I'm just gonna pre-butt what you hear all the time from the left on this, and from liberals and from people who watch the show, people who I talk to in real life, are like, why do we have to practice housekeeping? They don't. Donald Trump got away with it. He ran 3 times. My response to that is twofold. One, yeah, Donald Trump got away with it, but life isn't fair, and Donald Trump is a uniquely talented con man, and not everybody else is. Number 2, yeah, Donald Trump got away with it, but do we want to be like Donald Trump? I don't. And number 3, and most importantly, a lot of other Republicans didn't get away with it. And like people like pretend like this didn't happen, but like Roy Moore, the Republicans lost a seat in Alabama because they nominated an Efebo-phile. Okay, they lost an Alabama Senate seat over it. My girl Carrie Lake, how many times did they lose in Arizona if they would just nominated a regular Jeff Flake? Jeff Flake would be governor.
Herschel Walker lost that
go
Senate seat in Georgia.
The Republicans have, so it has worked for Trump himself, but like for the Republicans, their inability to do any internal housekeeping has cost them a lot of races. And so like it is good politics, and it's just good for your soul to like assess what is happening on your own team and be able to say, hey, that person isn't up for running for president again. Might be a good person, but he's too old. He just doesn't have it anymore. Or, hey, that person might have some really good things to say about corporate capture in the Democratic Party and the stupid wars we've been in. And I agree with those things, but like, he doesn't seem that reliable. And there's a lot of red flags here. And maybe we should trust our instincts on the red flags, right? Like, that's the right thing to do. And I think the Democrats in both cases would probably have ended up being in better situations if those reckonings had happened earlier along in the process.
That's right. Early oppo on people. This is actually basic due diligence in campaign work, is to run oppo on your own people to see what's out there. And I don't understand. I guess they thought he could kind of power through the Reddit posts and other things. But guys, I can't. I don't want to repeat rumors, and so I won't. I will only say this. This story, as it was sort of coming to fruition in the world, lots of people knew the story was coming, but we didn't know exactly which allegation. And as we all talked about which allegation it might be, lots of other things are coming up. Like, I don't think this is the last story on him. So the question is And now it's a really bad choice. It is a damaged candidate who is likely to get further damaged as they go because he's got all kinds of skeletons in his closet. And it's really bad stuff. It's not tax stuff, okay? It's rape. And then the other option is to basically be like, okay, well, now we've got to install somebody new because it's so late in the game. And so, look, this is who, there's the people to blame right now are Graham Platner, the people who recruited him without vetting him properly. And also, I mean, I still think I'm going to give a little to Chuck Schumer, who had years to field somebody who could be a new, fresh candidate, and the best they could come up with was Janet Mills. But we're not in this position because we're saying that Graham Platner should drop out. If people want to get mad at this, is the same thing with Biden, where people want to get mad at the people saying, "Why don't you stand by him? Why don't you?" And you know what? It's because it's my soul. That's why.
Yeah, not my job. Also,
yeah,
not my job.
That's right.
Like, okay.
Sarah's paid by APEC. Like, these comments, first of all, no, I'm not. Paid by Bulwark subscribers. But also,
we're paid by you. Thank you for watching. I'd add to this,
watching.
and I say this for I have some other chats. I've been trying to put them on screen. My little text not working back here, so I'm just going to read them. It's a mixed bag, as always. We appreciate everybody watching. I like this one. The Bulwark is quaking regarding democratic socialism. They want everything to go back to 2016 where they can be secretly racist, secretly elitist. Okay. That's like, I literally just going down and just like scroll down your little YouTube page to like 4 videos ago, and I was like talking about how surprisingly good Zoran's been and how good his speech was on the 4th of July. It's like, I'm not, I truly, again, do I agree with some of the most extreme views being put out by some of the DSA candidates? Like, of course not. And like, am I more interested in the free market than the DSA candidates are? Like, of course I am. But like, I also want to win. I truly want to like reiterate to you to this. Like, I hate Donald Trump more than you hate anything in your life, except for maybe for one of those commenters, maybe Jews. But for me, I hate Donald Trump. Okay, he is an extreme threat to our country. The right-wing authoritarianism is a massive risk. If you told me, hey, Tim, here's a magic wand, and it only gives you 2 options to make the country a Nordic socialist state or a Donald Trump autocracy, I would make us a Nordic socialist state in 2 seconds. That's totally fine with me. So, like, I'm not scared. But, like, the DSA people need to take accountability. And it does suck. This is a little real talk for, I think, the DSA and the populist left crowd, which is like, it's easy to like throw spitballs at the Democratic establishment and say, you guys have kept losing a lot. And that is, and it's true. They have. And we should change things. We should do things differently. It's hard to run the races. And like, they need to show they can win in swing states. And I think that there are things that the establishment candidates could learn from the populist candidates. And I think that the vice versa is true. Because like, this is right now what we're dealing with in Maine is a disaster. And the Democrats and the country would be much better off if there was like an inoffensive resist lib running.
Since we're fighting with the comments, let's keep doing it. Yeah, so like somebody just said, you know, they used the F word. They said, screw your soul, the country's at stake.
Exactly
I agree that the country's at stake. I agree that democracy's at stake, which is why now a rapist, an accused rapist, who, by the way, not the first piece of baggage this guy's been carrying around, lots of other stuff going on. In fact, there's multiple women now who've accused him of very toxic behavior. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, the country's at stake. That's why we needed better candidates. And it has nothing to do with Israel. You know what? Just to tag on to Tim's point, if you get Nordic socialism, then our previous Republican hearts would just be like, fine, whatever. The extent to which we have been willing to not just compromise, but sort of forego a lot of bespoke policy preferences to align with Democrats to win and defeat Donald Trump. I don't like. That's what we do. That's what we've done. And so no one's funded by AIPAC. And you know what? Candidates who are super critical of Israel, I think that's where the Democratic base is right now. And they might be more critical than I might be, although I've been more critical than I ever have been in my life. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. So like, this has nothing to do with AIPAC. It has to do with who can defeat Susan Collins and how are we going to get there. And Grant Platner now has too much baggage, and that is not. We're not giving him that baggage by talking about it. We're just acknowledging the obvious, just like we acknowledge the obvious that Joe Biden was too old to run for a second term.
I'm pretty concerned. I have a lot of concerns about how much money AIPAC is spending in the Democratic primaries. Actually, I don't think it's very helpful. I've been critical of it, but this is not there. Speaking of that,
why does Tim feel like he needs to apologize for his own opinions and pin it alone? I cannot explain the brain rot. I don't know. There's got to be some psychological thing about if people are. I don't know. If I were to sit and like write down a bunch of stuff, maybe I could try to think of a thing. But yeah, it is unbelievably mind rotting where people feel like they have to do this weird like constant capitulation or giving assurances to people on the far left or whatever, no matter who you are, or what your politics are. It's or I mean, like, well, not no matter what your politics are, but if you're on the left, you always have to be nice to them.
Fuck the left. They're retarded.
What do you mean by that, bro?
You heard me.
Here's some other people who have weighed in on this. Ruben Gallego, who has the same consultants as Graham Platner. I think that's just noteworthy. The allegations against Graham Platner are troubling and deeply serious. I'm rescinding my endorsement. We have Ro Khanna, also kind of representing the populist left, kind of anti-AIPAC crowd. I've been very clear that sexual assault or violence against women is a red line. These allegations are very serious and credible. Graham Platner should drop out from the race. I'm withdrawing my endorsement. So
that's it. He's gone. He's done.
Frankly,
he's been done.
Frankly, Ro Khanna and Rubin like are going farther than I would have expected. Again, it's so funny. Like people are to take this moment for like and there'll be infighting on the internet about the Democratic Party, but like once again, this is like the Democratic Party across factions being responsible. Like Bill Clinton's not digging in right now because he's in part of his factional fight. Just like when Andrew Cuomo like had these accusations, a lot of the centrist Democrats threw him overboard. You know,
Correctly.
Correctly. It was the right thing to do. So there's really no surviving it for Platner. So at this point, I guess the question is how to move forward with a candidate that comes out of a state party convention, which is not ideal. But hopefully, I think the best thing would be that candidate can kind of channel some of the messaging from Platner.
Good one. Glad this is a fucking joke to you.
Make his biggest supporters like feel like they have a stake in the campaign. I think that's going to be a big challenge. But but doing so in a way that kind of speaks to the median Maine voter, and that frankly just gets the coalition out.
I swear to God, winning Maine, like if somebody would run and say, hello, I'm Joe, and I'm literally a generic Democrat. I will be a generic Democrat for you. I will go in there and I will vote with Democrats and I will support Democrats and I will stand in the way of absolutely everything Donald Trump is doing. The candidate can probably win.
Nobody wants normal people, bro. No one cares.
Again, I mentioned him,
nobody wants anything normal anymore. You're wrong.
Popular person being mentioned among Platner supporters right now. Again, he's a state senator, was a lawyer, described himself as progressive. So we'll see how that goes. I have two fun end things I want to do. I'm just paging through the comments here. Sorry guys, I wanted to put these on screen, but I don't get that working right now.
I thought you were a professional streamer now.
I know. Yeah, so this person says, y'all were circle the wagons as Republicans. No, I was not that. I actually left being the Republican because I did not want to circle the wagons. Literally the opposite.
Definite opposite.
Okay, but thank you for your $2. Troy Jackson polls well against Collins. Jay Dizzle. There you go, Troy Jackson again.